On the Wednesday night of the Republican convention this summer, you might remember that Texas Senator Ted Cruz, in his speech, he did not say the word Trump while he gave his speech at the Republican convention. He, of course, had signed a pledge along with all the other Republican candidates saying he would support whoever the Republican nominee for president was. But Ted Cruz really just could not stand Donald Trump. And even though he was invited to speak at the convention, he couldn't bring himself to say Donald Trump's name. The closest he could get was vote your conscience. And he got screamed at and booed at, and he got yelled off the stage. His family had to be reportedly escorted out of the arena for their own safety. And then the next morning, with his home state Texas delegation to the convention, he decided he would not back down. He went to go meet with the Texas delegation after he had given this speech and been booed and screamed off the stage. And he said what he thought of Donald Trump. And he said why he didn't endorse him in that speech. And while he was speaking to the Texas delegation, half of that room cheered him on and clapped for him, sticking to his guns. And the other half of the room screamed at him all over again.
I am not in the habit of supporting people who attack my wife and attack my father. And that pledge was not a blanket commitment that if you go and slander and attack Heidi, that I'm going to nonetheless come like a servile puppy dog and say thank you very much for maligning my wife and maligning my father.
Not going to come like a servile puppy dog. I mean, even if you like servile puppy dogs, and who among us does not, right? Oh, lie down, fellas. Look at his little butt. Lie down. Good boys. I mean, if there's anything better than a lying down dog, it's a good sit, right? Even if you like servile puppy dogs, even if you like puppy dogs in every circumstance, Ted Cruz put a spin on the word puppy dog when he was talking about Donald Trump that basically turned that word into a curse.
That pledge was not a blanket commitment that if you go and slander and attack Heidi, that I'm going to nonetheless come like a servile puppy dog and say thank you very much.
The vitriol, the disgust, a servile puppy dog, the disgust that Senator Cruz spat for Donald Trump at the Republican convention, the disgust he had with him throughout this campaign, it was not a normal level of intra-candidate fighting. I mean, Ted Cruz would just get beside himself about Donald Trump. He would get so mad, he almost couldn't get the words out when he talked about Donald Trump.
It's not easy to tick me off. I don't get angry often. But you mess with my wife, you mess with my kids, that'll do it every time.
This morning, Donald Trump went on national television and attacked my father. Donald Trump alleges that my dad was involved in assassinating JFK. Now, let's be clear. This is nuts. This is not a reasonable position. This is just kooky. I'm going to tell you what I really think of Donald Trump. This man is a pathological liar. He doesn't know the difference between truth and lies. He lies practically every word that comes out of his mouth. I actually think Donald, if you hooked him up to a lie detector test, he could say one thing in the morning, one thing at noon, and one thing in the evening, all contradictory, and he'd pass the lie detector test each time. Whatever lie he's telling at that minute, he believes it. The man is utterly amoral. Morality does not exist for him. He is lying to his supporters. Donald will betray his supporters on every issue if this man were to become president. Think about the next 5 years. The boasting, the pathological lying, the picking up the National Enquirer and accusing people of killing JFK, the bullying. Think about your kids coming back and emulating this. Listen, Donald Trump is a serial philanderer, and he boasts about it. This is not a secret. He's proud of being a serial philanderer. I want everyone to think about your teenage kids. I'll tell you, as the father of 2 young girls, the idea of our daughters coming home and repeating any word that man says horrifies me.
Donald, you're a sniveling coward, and leave Heidi the hell alone.
So will you support him as the nominee?
I'm going to beat him for the nomination.
That's not
He
answering
is
the
not.
question, Senator.
I am answering the question. Donald Trump will not be the nominee.
He's leading right now. You
Donald
just looked
Trump
in that
will
camera
not
and
be
said
the
he's a
nominee.
And then Donald Trump became the nominee. And then Donald Trump won the presidency. And now I give you, on a platter, the fully cooked, sliced, salted, and peppered soul of Senator Ted Cruz.
How would you characterize your visit with the president-elect?
Listen, it was very productive. I spent several hours in Trump Tower, had the chance to meet with the president-elect. I am eager and committed to working with President-elect Trump. I'm eager to work with the new president in whatever capacity. I'm looking forward to working very, very closely with President Trump.
Would it be safe to say it sounds like you and Donald Trump are pretty much on the same page?
He and I have been fighting for a long time for many of the very same principles.
Oh, we remember.
He was the one who brought up the word principles there. He wasn't asked that. He brought it up. Senator Ted Cruz of Texas today. Sit. Good boy. Lie down. But this was that day in American politics. This was the day when very famous men in politics measured the distance between the height of their high horse and bowing and scraping the floor.
Dishonesty is Donald Trump's hallmark.
Presidents have an impact on the nature of our nation, and trickle-down racism, trickle-down bigotry, trickle-down misogyny, all these things are extraordinarily dangerous to the heart and character of America. This is not a matter of just policy. It's more a matter of character and integrity.
You think he's a racist?
Oh, I think his comments time and again appeal to the racist tendency that exists in some people, and I think that's very dangerous.
Mr. Trump is a con man, a fake. His imagination must not be married to real power. His domestic policies would lead to recession. His foreign policies would make America and the world less safe. He has neither the temperament nor the judgment to be president. This is the very brand of anger that has led other nations into the abyss.
Into the abyss? This has led other nations into the abyss. This has been the death of other nations. That is serious from Governor. No, actually, it's not that serious.
Mitt Romney is going to be meeting with Donald Trump on Sunday this weekend. That's a big deal. Now we are reporting and able to report that he is being considered for Secretary of State.
For Donald Trump's Secretary of State, to be clear. Former Massachusetts Governor Mitt Romney might get a job out of all of this, it turns out. So never mind about the whole into the abyss thing. Woof. Sit. 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 Soft mouth. Today was the day when the last vestige of Republican, honorable, principled horror at Donald Trump dissolved into everybody just trying to get a job with him now. Forget all that.